So let's go deeper into Walmart's story here in Oregon, all right? So Walmart closes one of these places, all right, putting out hundreds of people from a job. I was surprised. It was 231 people, I think is what it said. And then, come to find out in the second article I received, there's this incident that happened in the, same kind of geographic location, all right?
Portland,
in Portland. And it is where Walmart has to pay $4.4 million to a person who was... Hi, I'm Parker Marley.
And I'm Tim Benjamin.
And this is the Rage Podcast, where today we are going to talk about Walmart. A little bit more than that, actually. But shoplifting and stealing and thievery and all the other words that are...
Which we want to say right off the bat, spoiler alert, we are against.
For some obvious reasons.
Yes.
Well, maybe not so obvious reasons once we get a little bit further into the video today. I have some fun stories about shoplifting. Not myself, but some people that I know... there's a lot of young people, they normally get their first jobs at Walmart. One, because Walmart pays pretty well, okay?
Yeah, starting out.
And so I have a lot of friends that work at Walmart, and I was shocked to hear how many people in our area shoplift alone. Just pick up things and walk out the store with it. Even put it in your cart. Use their own cart to steal from, certain superstores and things like that. That's a problem.
That's a problem. It's definitely a problem.
And first, I think we want to look at the problem for the individual.
Yeah.
Before we go and talk a little bit later on about the problem that obviously the society faces. Yeah. But stealing, and thievery as many sins can become very addictive.
Yeah, and I think the big problem with the moral question of stealing is that it's like a gateway. It's like a gateway sin. It's one that we all started out with. I can remember as a very, very little kid. I mean, little. We were at I think it was like a leather shop, and they had like belts and boots and all these different kind of things there. And I can remember. You might remember back in the day when they had that belt loop on your belt where you kind of pull your belt around and you stick it in that little loop thing. Well, there's one of those on the floor, so I picked it up and I put it in my pocket. And so we're driving home and I'm like playing with this thing, and my mom was like, "Where did you get that?" I was like, "Well, I picked it up on the floor." My mom freaked out because here Tim is, stealing stuff out of the store. I didn't know any better, but I still, that was like, 45 years ago that happened. I still remember it because, she made such a big deal about how we don't steal things. I didn't think of it as stealing. I was like, it was on the floor. How was I supposed to know? But she impressed upon me the importance of, not stealing, which has been a virtue that has paid off for me in my life. Yeah.
And yeah, sure, stealing can, go and create different problems as in any immoral foothold that you have in your life can always build upon itself to become something crazy. But stealing's one that has progression. Is a sin that you can commit at different levels almost. Say, not to say that stealing, yes, but goes from simply getting a chocolate bar, to use the simple cliche as that, to eventually stealing TVs from Walmart, and as long as you continue to get away with it, well, then the thrill and the high's still there, and you're making yourself a pretty good profit from it too.
Yeah, because when you're talking about reward for behavior, again, reward is a strange word in this context, but the reward is quick. Because the moment I'm away, now it's mine. I have the reward. Whatever I took is right there, and that's a dopamine hit. Even though it's wrong, it's a dopamine hit, and as we know, that is the foundation of all addictive behaviors, all of them.
This is one that some of us just don't relate to because we've probably all had to talk like Tim had with his mom.
Yeah.
At least many of you who may be watching this video, you're like, well, yeah, you just don't steal, but once you get away with, for Thanksgiving, maybe 2 years ago possibly. We had the turkey on the bottom of our cart, all right? And we went to self-checkout, and we never looked at the bottom of our cart until we pack up and get home, and we loaded up the turkey, and once we get there, we were like, I don't think we ever paid for this.
Yeah.
Say that event, to someone, oh, well, I got away with getting a, 50-pound bird or something. And
yeah, you've all heard people brag about that.
Yeah. Yeah, and so they're like, oh, I got away with this, so then they move on, and that simple addictive behavior, as we were talking, can consume a life.
If you don't nip that in the bud and get a hold of it, even with yourself, the next time you're like, it's only hard to do the first time.
Yeah.
The second time you talk yourself into it real fast if you let yourself go there.
And so all these things just pile up, and it leads to a crushing weight.
And it's interesting when you look at it from a biblical perspective, as we tend to do here at the Rage Podcast. Don't steal made one of God's top 10. I mean, it's right there with don't murder and don't commit adultery and other things like that. Even though we think of probably think of that not as bad as some of those other things. Obviously, you're not going to go, for stealing a belt loop off the floor, you're not going to go to jail for the same amount of time as if you shoot somebody, and you shouldn't. But the idea is it's all pointing you in the same direction, and that's the risk you take to yourself. And once you start down that road and give that up, it's difficult. And I think that a lot of times, in a lot of the ways that you guys, and I know Parker probably has too, heard people talk about it, it is a bragging thing.
We're kind of hinting at now the kind of impact that this has on as a society.
Yes.
And things such as that. We have an example kind of today. Me and Tim were reading some articles about a Walmart in
there was a couple of Walmarts.
In
Portsmouth, Oregon.
Yeah, in God's hellhole of Oregon.
Place where all the riots and everything took place since 2020. I should say not in 2020, but since 2020.
How that place still exists, I don't quite know.
Yeah.
But anyways, there was a Walmart that shut down. All right, this was the first article I got. It was a Walmart that was closing its doors. Or was it two Walmarts?
There were two Walmarts. In Portland, Oregon.
Yep.
And they've been having problems with theft. Now, that in and of itself is not shocking. I mean, I'm sure Walmart has a tremendous amount of products stolen, and that's unfortunate.
Yep.
But these two went through some time of some very part of the problem they're running into is not only are they having things stolen, but they're having things damaged from the rioting and things like that. So they're running into problems. They're saying, please. First of all, please stop stealing stuff, which seems pretty self-explanatory. But since that wasn't heeded, they were looking for some other places to try to get some help. From the local law enforcement, things like that. And one of the statistics that we Parker and I were reading about was only 46% of misdemeanors in the county where Portland, Oregon is located, only 46% of the misdemeanors are ever prosecuted, which means more than half the people don't even go to court, let alone end up with any kind of penalty because of it. That's a big
problem.
Yeah, because now you're even talking about what about all the people who didn't even get caught?
Yeah, didn't get caught, and then if you do get caught, you have a better odd of
not even getting charged than having anything happen.
Yep.
You want to talk about an environment that would encourage more stealing? I think that's a pretty good one. And to take that on out, I remember reading another article. I didn't send this one to you, but since they weren't prosecuting things that were less than $1,000, what one shopkeeper did in order to protect his store is he marked everything in his store up to $1,000. And then when you got into the checkout line to pay for it, you got a coupon that was worth a lot of money.
Oh, wow. Really?
So if you tried to steal something, $1,000, if it was a stick of gum or whatever it was, it was $1,000 so that he could call the police.
That's awesome. Good for him.
Way to
find the loophole, right?
Yeah. But when you got to resort to those things just to protect your stuff, and everybody's like, well, that stuff's insured, they're going to get it back. Not the small guy. Walmart, maybe, but probably not even them. They'll probably just write off the loss.
But look at Walmart. So let's go deeper into Walmart's story here in Oregon, all right? So Walmart closes one of these places, all right, putting out hundreds of people from a job. I was surprised. It was 231 people, I think is what it said. People out of a job.
Yeah.
It might be higher than that.
It probably is higher than that because you think there probably is a restaurant attached to it. They're out. Other stores around it, because Walmart normally has littler stores that grow up around it. They're all out.
Yep.
The truckers who are driving the stuff in, they're all out.
Yep.
The people who build and maintain the building, they're all out. So it's a lot of people.
So, I was shocked to see how many people actually are employed by a Walmart and all these things. But anyway, so they shut that Walmart down, and then come to find out in the second article I received, there's this incident that happened in the, same kind of geographic location, all right?
Portland,
in Portland, and it is where Walmart has to pay $4.4 million to a person who was profiled, racially profiled. And now we're not going to get into the concept of probably the racial profiling or anything, but
that's what the lawsuit happened to be about.
That's what the lawsuit happened to be about. And now there's a lot of iffiness behind that lawsuit and everything. So because of this person making accusations that Walmart was profiling and discriminating them, Walmart now had to pay $4.4 million
above and beyond all the stuff they're losing. Yeah, this is beyond that.
So I mean, we're going to make our own assumptions here at the Rage because that's what we do.
Yeah.
But anyways,
that happened in August.
Yeah.
And here we are in March, and
closing,
and now it's closing. So they didn't actually cite that as a reason, but the timing is a little suspect.
But I myself am citing that as that's the reason why. Because I mean, you're going to pay $4.4 million, and you're going to expect to. I mean, they said there's already two Walmarts in Portland,
and the people they were accusing were the team that was brought in to minimize theft.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's what they were being paid to do. And they had protocols and things they were supposed to follow. And look, we can debate whether or not they did. But at the end of the day, the article said they never spoke to the man.
Yeah.
To the man who filed the lawsuit, they never said anything. They never stopped him. Nothing. And apparently he was offended just by their presence, so he started screaming at them, and they asked him to leave. Which, you know, when you're yelling at employees, you're going to get asked to leave. That's how that works. And things kind of snowballed completely out of control from there.
And Walmart ended up losing.
So you know, so here they are taking the initiative to try to save the store, save the jobs. And I mean, there's still a component of this we haven't even talked about yet, but try to save all these opportunities. And you know, the jury there awarded them this verdict, and you know, it's costing them money, and I don't blame them for not wanting to do business there if the community doesn't want you or they just want to milk you to death. But see, the next piece that we're talking about, all those jobs are gone, that's bad, and all those other ancillary jobs are gone, that's bad. However, love or hate Walmart, there's still some of the place you can get the cheapest groceries and cheapest product, you know, cheapest supplies around. And now the people of Portland don't have that opportunity anymore. So when you take a competitor like Walmart out of the thing, now again, there's some people out there say, oh, that's good. Yeah, I mean, I get it. We all love mom and pop places. But when you're trying to talk about economic hardship, to be able to buy your supplies and your food at reduced prices, that's primary. That's the most important thing. And now these people don't have access to what we all know to be the cheapest way to feed your family and clothe and all these different things. That's not not available to these poor people in Portland. And again, I'm putting no fault on Walmart for that because, look, they obviously wanted to be there. They built the store. But now the fact that they're not there because the situation just wasn't conducive to them, the community now loses out on that. And everybody gets hurt. And all this started from somebody who, you know, wanted a pair of jeans or something. I mean, you know, back when this whole thing started to go off the rails. And now here we are, a lot of people, a lot of young people have morally compromised themselves by stealing, to starting themselves on a direction that's going to be bad. There was no correction applied to that. You know, no punishment, no getting things right, no intervention, nothing. They were basically, that means they were rewarded because they ended up with the stuff. So none of that happened. And now the community is suffering because this business cannot exist there, or can't or won't exist there, you pick. But now that means that the people will not have access to the goods and services, and a whole lot of people are out of their job. All because the community couldn't see past the end of their nose and stole them out of existence. All this to say is, there's a reason why the Bible outlines this stuff as bad. Okay? There's a reason why stealing is bad. And this is it. These are all the reasons.
Yeah, and because a lot of if you look at the 10 Commandments, especially being one of the big 10, such as stealing, a lot of it does not have to do necessarily just with yourself, right? You certainly, if you're going to steal, you're going to face a lot of negative things yourself, but rather it's about a society, right? God has always been trying to make us live in community and harmony, right? It goes back to the clear example of the Garden of Eden. And if you do those behaviors, you're going to destroy community, right? Just as Tim got done saying, you know, that community is, well, beyond destroyed for multiple reasons, beyond stealing. But, I mean, all of those things compile together to destruct and destroy the bonds of community and togetherness and so forth. And a lot of those parts of the 10 Commandments are set in place to, one, help you live a good and just life, you know, but also to keep you in a community, to keep you in a connected fellowship and in the brotherhood of man, you know, and all those things.
Yeah, and you're 100% correct. And I think part of the greater issue here is and actually Parker and I kind of fell into this in this podcast, is we want to say, what were the elected officials doing? You know, what was law enforcement doing? Actually, that's probably the wrong question. Where was people's moms at?
Yeah.
Where was dad saying, where did you get that? Where did that come from? Where did you get money for that? This to be able to where was the community saying we have to stop this? And if I find out about things, I'm going to call the police and make these things stop, because now the community is suffering because the community didn't bother to step in and stop it. And that's what good, healthy communities do, is they protect each other. Look, I know that nobody's in a great love affair with Walmart. I get that, but at the end of the day, that was a business that was there providing jobs for people that they knew, and now it's gone because people didn't take care of it. So that's why these rules exist. This whole command not to steal and basically not to sin, pick your sin, all those things are in there because they have tremendous ramifications, tremendous consequences. And Parker and I just pointed out one. We could have done any one of 1,000 examples. Yep. The Bible's not a dusty old book written from a long time ago that says stuff that was important at one time but is no longer. There's a reason why stealing is bad. There's a reason why we have laws today against it, because we're trying to protect communities. We're trying to protect people who would take a chance to be entrepreneurs and go out and try to build something better. And if we don't respect that, then those kind of opportunities, they're going to go away.
Yep. So don't steal.
It took us a long time to get to that.
And above all, respect your Walmart workers too.
Because, hey, those people are working hard for you.
They do.
Communities, we only have them, we take care of them. So let's do just that. Have a great week, everybody.